بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. فقال الإمام النووي رحمه الله تعالى: وعن أسامة بن زيد رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: ما تركت بعدي فتنة هي أضر على الرجال من النساء. متفق عليه. This is the final hadith in this chapter on the rights of husbands over their spouses. And this is coming from Usama bin Zayd radiallahu anhu, who relates to us that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have not left behind a tribulation that is more harmful to men than women. What does this mean? First and foremost, we have to look at the word fitna. And we've spoken about it before. Fitna, in its original usage in the Arabic language, is to dip some gold into fire, to remove the dross and impurities, to give you pure gold. You would say in Old Arabic, fatantu dhahab ila nar. And you put the gold into the fire to extract the dross. And fitna in our deen can come about through shahawat, desires of the nafs, or shubuhat, ideas and arguments and things of caprice. And when we hear of certain things being described as fitna, we have to understand that those things aren't always evil. They are fitna insofar as they can distract us from Allah. They are fitna insofar as we may succumb to our desires and interact with them in a way that is displeasing to Allah, even if those things aren't evil in and of themselves. And we see this in the Quran, because Allah Ta'ala says that within your wealth and in your children and your wives is a fitna. Are your children evil? No. But the children can distract one from doing what is pleasing to Allah. They can distract them from the dhikr of Allah. A person is struggling to make ends meet and feed hungry mouths. They may resort to haram. It happens. And in that case, the children are a fitna because there's the potential distancing of the person from their Lord by paying so much attention to those children at the expense of their relationship with Allah Ta'ala. So women are in that category, not because women are inherently evil. We don't believe that. But they can be a means of us being distracted. They can be a means of us going astray. They can be a means of us succumbing to the haram. They can be a means of us getting into all sorts of trouble. And when you talk to most people anywhere, Muslim, non-Muslim, who've made it to their 30s and 40s, they can probably recount incidents in their life where they've gotten in trouble and it had to do with them and women. Whether it's, rushing into a marriage they weren't ready for because they just want to get married, or being in a relationship that was illegitimate, or being so distracted with the relationship that they put other things on the back burner that should have taken priority. So in that case, they are a fitna. And fitna doesn't mean evil. There are women who are not a fitna in that they don't actively cause temptation, but they're a fitna for us because we have desires, we have shahwa. And any person who claims that they've reached a stage where they don't have shahwa, they are deluding themselves. And that's just their shadow talking, pretending that they don't have desires. One of the early imams, I believe it was Abu Yazid al-Bustami, rahimahullah, one of the great early imams. He said that he used to make a dua saying, "Oh Allah, take away from my heart any shahwa for women, any desire for women." And he kept making this dua that he had not have any desire or any longing to be with a woman as a wife, until he realized one day that this is not an appropriate dua to make, because The Prophet ﷺ said, حُبِّبَ إِلَيَّ مِن دُنْيَاكُمْ ثَلَاث. Three things have been made beloved to me of your world. And he mentions among them women. So the Prophet ﷺ never made such a dua, so he realized he should stop that. But women are a fitna for men. And Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينِ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ وَالْخَيْلِ الْمُسَوَّمَةِ وَالْأَنْعَامِ وَالْحَرْثِ. That it has been made attractive for men or for people, the love of desires for women, they're mentioned first, and then banin, children, and then horses, or we could say in our day and age, nice cars, gold and silver, and these type of things. Zuyyina here is interesting because it's a passive form. You say zuyyina, it has been made attractive and beautified for them. But who has made those things attractive for us? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You find in some of the tafsir literature, and you have some opinions, ruwayat, narrations mentioned that zuyyina here is a reference to shaitan. The shaitan is saying, you go after this one and go after that one. But that's not the soundest view, because this is inspired in us to maintain human civilization, to have desire for the opposite sex. So this is actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has caused that instinct in us to desire to have connection with the opposite gender. But it's also a fitna. So the very thing that is in our instinct can become that thing that leads us astray if it's not tempered by the shara' and the aql, the law and one's intellect. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.